My name is Sharron Werlin-Krull, and I am an educator of children, teachers, and parents, and I'm here with you today to share an incredible new product, a new paint discovered in Europe and now made in the United States. It's called BioColor, and it's so special. Every child should have the opportunity to enter the imagination playground of BioColor. And I got to tell you all about this great paint. It's non-toxic and completely safe for children to use. And it's made from natural ingredients and cosmetic pigments. And it's more than just a temper paint. I use it at the easel all the time, but you could also use it as a finger paint, a face paint, a fabric paint. You can even make stickers with it. And it's so spreadable and flexible. Look at this. It won't crack off paper or fade in the sun or with age. And it adheres to everything besides paper, cardboard, wood, metal, and plastic. It's easy to wash off the skin. Just use cold water, a feature of BioColor that parents and teachers like. And if it gets on the clothing, just follow the easy washing instructions on the label, or I recommend using the product Zout. BioColor comes and look at all these great colors. 18 colors, including 7 way cool fluorescents. And it has 2 sizes, 1 gallon and 16 ounces. And I'm going to share with you right now a lot of accessories and tools that you can use to do a lot of different art experiences. First, the BioColor scraper, made of soft plastic, great for spreading BioColor. Plastic paste brush. This scrapes and moves BioColor. Just move it like paint around like that on the paper. To get more resistance from this versatile art tool, just cut off a 1/4 inch right off the tip. Or you could even cut a little notch, make wavy lines. This has a V notch in it. You get different techniques with that. The Nancy squeeze bottle. This is named after our good friend Nancy. Had the foresight to find one of these things because it's a great dispenser for BioColor, just the right size for small fingers. And don't cut off the tip. Use a fork tine and just break the seal. Now it's just perfect for dispensing BioColor. Then there's another plastic bottle here called the Bingo bottle. And this has it's 2 ounces, has a felt tip on it, and you just fill it with your BioColor, and it's great for, look at it, you could make face painting as well as use it as a marker on paper. Then there's the metallic powders. I have gold and silver, and it's just so much fun. I've never used this before. It's quite unique to use in that you just dip a brush in it and tap it on your wet paint, and then you blow it off the excess, and you have an embossed effect on your painting. And you can mix it even with the BioColor to create a different type of paint. And the brush I like using, this is my favorite, the chubby brush. It's just the right size. It's made with natural bristles. It's strong and durable and easy to grip. So, told you all about these great tools. Oh, I forgot one. The textile meat. This is why I forgot. It's brand new. We just got this because it makes BioColor into a fabric paint. Just automatically add it to the BioColor, and you have a fabric paint for creating all types of things, from T-shirts to placemats. So let's get started. Let's enter the imagination playground now of BioColor and see and experience some art activities. Now I'm going to show you an art activity called the Comet, and we're going to create something out of this world. Using Nancy bottles, I'm going to squeeze 4 or 5 differently colored circles onto a piece of paper. And I'm starting out with a dime-sized dot of magenta. And then around that, I'm going to put 4 more circles with different colors. Now yellow, and then green. And then don't worry if it gets on top of each other or anything like that. We're looking at enjoying the process of laying the paint on the paper, using the muscles in our hands and our fingers, and promoting that small motor development in our children. Now, I'm going to take the BioColor scraper, putting at one end of the paper. I'm going to move and sweep the paint to the other end. Look at that. Wow. Look at that. I got that tail like the celestial body it's named after, the comet. And when using the scraper, notice the paint almost dries immediately, a feature that we teachers and parents really like. And this is simple but dramatic, demonstrating BioColor's unique property, that wherever it first touches the paper, it stays distinct and separate. That color stays distinct and separate. And I'd like to show the children this first, but let them experiment on their own. using a variety of colors, making different shapes, enjoying the creative process. The jewelry I'm wearing, maybe you noticed this, my beautiful star here, is made with the marbling technique, and I'm going to show you how this is done. It's so simple. We're going to start out with a paper plate. You're just going to put it right on one of these thin paper plates, and you're going to use Nancy bottles, and you're just going to squeeze the paint on, just making squiggly lines of it. And I'm starting out with my green, and then my red, my blue. Sorry, this is blue. I'm going to lay down a base of dark colors here. And now I'm going to add the ever popular fluorescence. Look at this. The orange, kids really like. This is a great opportunity to use the fluorescence in the marbling technique. And then the yellow, and then I got to use some pink, favorite color. And the pink. And then once again, look at this. We're using those fine motor muscles in the hands and the fingers. We got to promote that development. It's what we need to do first before we ask children to cut with scissors or write with a pencil. And then I'm going to lighten it up a little bit with white as my last color. Now we got to paint, but not with a brush. We're going to move this paint around by tilting and turning the plate. And look at that. Color is moving in all directions. And how is this paint moving? You know, we can integrate science now into our art experience because it's painting with gravity. And we just want to cover up the inside perimeter. And notice that the uniqueness of BioColor, it's moving around, but the colors are staying separate. Now, to do the marbling, we could leave it just like this, but we're going to extend this a little bit further. I'm going to take a fork and lightly drag it through the paint to create the marble effect. Now we're going to need to let this dry anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. And when it's dry, then you're going to spray it with just a little spray varnish just to seal it. And then you could make things like, use a cookie cutter or shape, or let kids use their own imaginations and a pair of scissors and cut out a desired shape and glue on the backing of your choice. And you got a pin, a brooch, even a refrigerator magnet. Can you make jewelry with the marbling technique? But look what you could also do on the plexiglass. You've created the marbling technique on this, and it's so much fun, and it peels right off. And we've made stickers. Look at that. And they're removable, reusable, and kids have great pleasure in saying, I made a sticker all by myself. Let's find out how we do this. I've already started creating the universal rainbow in children's art by laying down and applying with the Nancy bottles the BioColor. And I've started with red, orange, yellow, green, and I got 2 more colors as I know my rainbow. The blue, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. These are the colors of the rainbow. I'm almost done. And it's just, notice I'm putting it on a little bit thicker, and you need to do that when you make a sticker. Let me show you this as I lift up the plexiglass sheet. It's a little bit raised and thicker, and as it dries, it will spread and flatten out. So don't put the paint too close to the edges of the plexiglass. And this is going to take, about 48 to 72 hours to dry, and when it dries, it just peels right off the plexiglass. I already have a dry one here, and you could apply it to windows and other smooth surfaces. Real simple to do, and kids feel a great sense of satisfaction in that. Look, I made this sticker all by myself. And if they do dry out, just moisten the back with water and stick it right back on. For our next activity, we're going to paint with a balloon and create the balloon stamp art. We're going to blow up an ordinary balloon, not too big, secure with a knot. And as I know you're well aware, balloons do need adult supervision. And we're going to paint with the rounded end of this balloon. I've created already my paint palette, and all I did was squeeze the paint from the Nancy bottle right onto the paper plate, and then dip the rounded end of the balloon into your paper plate paint palette, and then just start painting with the balloon right on the paper. And this is lots of fun as we bounce the paint around, covering up all the white space. Now my balloon has less paint on it, and it makes a different type of texture on it. You can see where there's more paint and less paint. So I'm going to keep adding more paint because I want to get a little bit different texture here. And think of all the different ages this appeals to. Everybody could do balloon stamp art. And I've created, look at that, I just think it looks real like a textured, floral textured design. And I'm not done yet. I'm going to extend this art activity one step further by taking my gold metallic powder and my dry chubby brush, dipping it into the gold metallic powder, blowing onto the brush, onto the paper, creating, look at that. See that gold there? It's created a embossed effect, showing more detail to my balloon stamp print. And remember, as this dries, it's not going to come off the paper. Look at it. Even with folding, and it doesn't crack, it doesn't flake, and it's ideal. Think of this. We went from a balloon all the way. We got gift wrap here. We could make gift wrap even Martha Stewart would like, and that's a good thing. Resist art. This is one of my favorites and so much fun to do. As you can see, we've already started. One child had the blue and the yellow BioColor. Another child had the pink and the green. And they work together simultaneously, either across from each other or next to each other, and they cover a sheet of paper with dime-sized dots of BioColor. And I'm finishing up putting on the fluorescent pink color. And it's really a nice opportunity. Resist art provides for children to cooperate, socialize, and think of the ensuing language development, as well as the eye-hand coordination of where am I going to put my next dime-sized dot. Now, we're going to place another sheet of paper right on top. Rub lightly and quickly. And let's see what happens. We lift off the top sheet and, whoa, look at that. The colors have spread and come together. And just imagine, my reactions is just, wow. And just think of the kids' reactions. They have so much fun that, look, we did this, we created this. And when doing resist art, remember to use vibrant colors and good coverage of the paint on the paper. Now, to do a resist, we have to use the black BioColor. And you're just going to squeeze out of the Nancy bottle, just put down the black right on top of the wet, vibrant colors. You don't need that much. And taking your chubby brush, you're going to paint over those beautiful colors and cover them all up just with our chubby brush. Very simple. And now taking my plastic scrapers, remember the plastic scrape brush that, we're going to scrape and move the color now. And I have one with the square tip and one with the V-notch, and you'll see what I'm going to do as I move and scrape the color. And you could see it's like the color just bounces right up at you. You got a stained glass effect, it looks like, as it comes through. And it's just so much easier to do than the old familiar crayon resist that we all grew up with, or so many of us did. And I'm using my V-notch brush now and making a real fun design. And each child, we've created these two paintings. Each child will do their own resist, whatever way pleases them. And it's something where I've already have a dry one. I got to show you this one where it's already dry, and I have 2 coats of paint. Remember, all that the dots of BioColor as well as the black, and it still does not crack or flake off the paper. And I really like the idea of 2 children working together, cooperating, communicating, and creating resist art. Look what I did with my friend. We're going to create BioColor rainbows, which are easy, fun, and spectacular. And it's so easy for kids to do, and it gives them a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction, which is bottom line in all that we do with kids to boost their self-esteem. We're going to start with a piece of paper, any size will do. We're going to place dime-sized dots of BioColor right on the bottom edge of your paper. And I start out here with red, orange, yellow. I'm going to yellow, green, and now blue. And I'm going to sing this song again. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. These are the colors of the rainbow. You know why I do that? Because that helps me remember that song and the order, the colors of the rainbow, because I really like making a true rainbow. It gives me a sense of satisfaction, feeling of accomplishment. And in that song just sits in the right hemisphere of the brain, and that's the seat of musical intelligence, and it makes it so much easier to remember the colors of the rainbow. Next, I'm going to take my BioColor scraper, and placing it below the dots, I'm going to move the color up the paper in an arc shape all the way over to the other side. And just by moving the paint from one side of the paper to the other, children are crossing their midline. And this is really important, a very important activity to do to promote early literacy development. And then when they're done with their rainbows, let children paint or use brushes and sponges and create whatever they see around their rainbow. Plexiglass printing is a unique way of painting. And I'm going to do this type of painting on these plexiglass sheets, which I forgot to show you at the beginning of the video. And what we're going to do is put paint, just lay paint right on them. And I'm going to start out with blue. I'm just going to make a dime-sized dot of blue right there. And then next to it, I'll add magenta. And it's okay if the colors touch. You could use 2, 3, or 4 colors. I happen to be using 3 right now. And then right below that, green. Now I place my plexiglass, my second sheet of plexiglass right on top, and I'm moving these so I can make sure when I place that second sheet on that the top one overlaps, and you're going to see it's going to be necessary for lifting it off. So I'm going to press down, make the color grow. You see that? Then lift off the top sheet, and the air disperses, creating the suction. Can you see that? Look, I'll put that piece of paper. It creates all these veins that we see, and they separate and give it an intricate design. Now, I'm going to take a print of this. To make a picture of this by placing my sheet of paper right on top, my finger goes around, lift, and I have a print. And I'm going to make this print even really, how do you say? I'm going to make it more 3D. I'm going to use my chubby brush, dip it into the gold metallic powder, and I'm going to blow onto the brush, onto the print. Can you see that? Can you see the raised detail? I can make up to 4 prints from just those 3 dots of color. Watch this. I'm going to do it again. If you watch how we do this. Put the paper on, go around the edge, lift, and we have another print. Now, I'm going to make a more intricate and detailed design. That's spectacular enough. It is way cool. But I'm going to put these together right on top of each other again. Press, lift, and look at this. Look at this. See, the veins have separated and become more detailed and intricate. Let's take a print of this and see what it looks like. Place my paper on top. My finger goes around, lift, and there it is. Do you see the difference? See the difference? I'll you hold this one up here. Just a little more detail. I mean, it's just really, it's one of those, wow, this is too cool. And it looks like underneath the ocean, under the sea. You could create forest scenes, ocean scenes. Look at the note cards, one-of-a-kind note cards, and even paper mobiles. Color mixing is a wonderful way to teach primary colors, making a secondary color. Start off by using 2 colors, and we're going to just squeeze a dime-sized dot of one color. I'm using red today. And then I'm going to use a little bit bigger than a dime-sized dot of yellow, keeping in mind that you're going to need more of this yellow to make our new surprise secondary color. Now take your BioColor scraper, put it on one side of the colors, and move them across the paper. And then with my fingers, I'm going to combine the 2 colors, mix them together, and I have created right before my eyes, my new surprise secondary color, orange. This is a visual and tactile demonstration of color mixing. Children didn't just use the color, they made color. Icicle painting will lead children on a sensory adventure, developing awareness of color, texture, and temperature. Now, to prepare for icicle painting, what we have to do is put 3 or 4 colors, or all the colors of the rainbow, into your ice cube tray, cover with foil, insert a craft stick. You see how nice that makes them stand up? And then just put it right in the freezer until you're ready to do icicle painting. When you're ready to do icicle painting, just take them off, take off the foil, and look at this. I have a paint palette all ready to go. Just put this in front of the children, and we're ready to paint with our bicycles. Not bicycles, bicycles. And then as we draw on the paper, and look at this, in this one I have a rainbow bicycle. And I'm going to, look at the rainbow. I'm going to create that universal rainbow. And as you paint with the bicycle, it starts off like a chalk, and as it softens, it becomes more like a crayon, and then like a paint. Look at that. And you know, even with doing the icicle painting, we are doing a science experiment too. Learning through art because we're showing solids and liquids. I have some exciting news for you. Now we have a new fabulous use for BioColor. All you need to do is just add textile medium to the BioColor, and we can create our very own fabric paint. Look what you can do. Ornaments. I'm going to show you how to make ornaments. We do have ornaments. Look at that. Stars, balls, hearts, and ovals. And they're really beautiful to look at. And let's find out how we can make them. It's really, really simple. And you could just buy these ornaments just very, very inexpensively. And every child can make their own. And each child could create their own colors in it by just separating the halves. And in each half, you put a color. Now, I'm going to start out. I really want to make a red heart. That's my heart. And I'm going to add about a quarter size of one color of this red here. And then I'm going to add a different color in the second half. This time I'm adding fluorescent red. Get to use those fluorescents again. I have a lot of fun with them. And then for an interesting effect, it's nice to add the white. Gives a little dimension to the color there. And now we're not done yet. You get to use the metallic powders again. Use your chubby brush and dip it into the like I'm dipping into the gold metallic now, and just tap it in there. Gold, I'm going to do both halves. And the reason we use the BioColor is, the metallic powder, is that it helps the BioColor to adhere to the ornament. Plus the visual is real fun to look at too. Now, we get to put these halves together. This is a physical challenge in itself. No, it's real easy. Just put them together. There, I think I got it. And now I get to shake it. Shake, shake, shake. Turn it and shake it. It's in the wrist. Just like you're shaking a thermometer. You got to totally coat the entire inside. Ooh, ooh, I like what I see already. Ooh, ooh, let's see. Now, you think your ornament's done. Well, you got to open it up. This is something we got to remember. Open up, separate the halves, and allow it to dry. And then when it's dry, then you could snap them back together. And it's going to take about 24 to 48 hours. And then when it's dry, you just put them back together. And voila, you have beautiful ornaments. And besides the heart I showed you, just remember, you could get a star, the ball, and the oval. Think of all the possibilities of using these ornaments and what you can do with them. You know what would be fun? You could string it with a cord, wear it as a necklace, or how about one on each ear for a pair of earrings? Lots of fun with these. And don't forget, we can't remind you enough, you got to open up both halves and allow it to dry before assembling. Blotter art. This is another form of printing. And what you do is take any sheet of paper, fold it and crease it, and then open it flat again, just like this. And what we're going to do is use Nancy bottles and squeeze several dots of color onto the crease. So I started with red, yellow, green. I'm going to add a little bit of blue now. Just squeeze. And we're also using those fine muscles, to develop those small motor skills right in these hands and fingers. And then I'm going to add white. And it's like the colors are touching. It reminds me of the segments of a caterpillar. It's really fun to create. And now I'm just adding a last color of violet. Refold now along the crease. And then press firmly and move the BioColor toward the edges of the sheet of paper. And I could even see the color moving between those sheets. And I want to move it, see what mine's going to look like. Wonder what my blotter design is going to look like when I open it up. Well, let's see. I open it up. Wow. Mine has emerged. Look at that. From the caterpillar to a beautiful fluttery butterfly. Away it goes flying. Goodbye. Goodbye. Isn't it fun to use your imagination? Let your children use their imagination and see the things in their pictures. Now, to extend this blotter art, you're going to do something else. This is really, really cool, too. You put another piece of paper right on top. Okay, just rub it quickly. Lift it off. Wow, and you have another print. Look at that. Looking somewhat different. You see that? I have negative space, and then I also have positive space. Now look at that. We are incorporating science right here and even language opportunities. We are learning through art. BioPutty, look what I'm holding here. BioPutty, it's rubbery, stretchy, tactile, lots of fun. And let each child make their own. Let's find out how. What I'm going to do is have a container here of borax, and I'm going to put the BioColor right into the borax. And the amount of BioColor you add and the amount of borax you have will determine how much BioPutty you're going to make. So I'm going to make an amount right there, and we just start mixing it right with your fingers. You just start mixing BioColor and borax. And a reaction occurs. Can you see that? It's coming together to create our BioPutty. And next, I'm going to submerge this in warm water and then knead it. Oh boy, does this feel good? This is a great opportunity for children. You know, think of putting out the water table. And then children could work together. Think of the social opportunities, the conversations, the language development that ensues. And the more you knead BioPutty, the more rubbery it becomes. And look at that. Right before our eyes, we have science happening at our fingertips. Having a good time. Feels so good. You know, these are the muscles. Once again, I can't stress this enough. We got to work these muscles in our hands and our fingers before we ask children to cut with scissors or write with a pencil. Now, when we're done making our BioPutty, hey, let's just put it right out here and we could play with it. You know, we could use any of our clay tools and molds and cookie cutters and rolling pins and let children mold and manipulate it and have a lot of fun with it. It's just so much fun, and it's just so much fun to feel and to work with it. And it's a nice alternative to put down at your tactile table. A lot of times you put out clay or Play-Doh. Why not put out a batch of BioPutty? It's lots of fun. And let each child even make their own. It's time to leave the imagination playground of BioColor, but before I leave, I got to tell you a real cute story. What happened one day in the art area at school. Mikey came up, we were doing the rainbows that day, and we're just having a good time and watching this and going, wow, isn't this something else? And Mikey comes up to me and he said, Mrs. Sharron, are you a magician? I said, no, Mikey, it's not magic, it's BioColor. And I hope you have as much fun as I've had here, demonstrating to you all the different art activities. Please share them with all the children you touch and help them release their natural creativity and discover the joy of art.